Dear Southern Cameroonians, fellow brave warriors of our liberation struggle, accept revolutionary greetings from me, John Bakuro. Today is the 5th of February in the year of our Lord 2020. And we are just 2 days away from this very historic and important demonstrations. My dear brothers and sisters, I know that in some places people are still battling with time to catch up as far as these demonstrations are concerned. But in a good lot of other locations, work is virtually getting complete, and people are really hoping, to be out there to show our true colors to the rest of the world. I had a conversation with a lot of people out there in Toronto, in Canada yesterday, and they told me they are actually preparing to spring up a huge surprise out there in Canada. Fellow Southern Cameroonians in Toronto, Canada, our spirits and our hearts are all with you. Let me begin by commending you even before we see exactly what you are preparing to offer. But take note, for those of you who are not yet sensitized in Canada, that the demonstration in Canada will take place opposite the U.S. Consulate General, and that will be in Toronto, Canada. Away from Toronto, Canada, in the United States of America, the demonstration is going to take place at 1450 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C., 2230. That is in front of the White House. And like I announced earlier, recall that President Donald Trump is on seat. He's not going to be absent from Washington, D.C. on Friday. And so this is a very important moment for us to come out there and be counted. Like I said earlier, this is a game of numbers. My dear people, this is short notice, but I want to bring to you within the framework of this communication a very important message, or there are even two messages that I received from Ground Zero. One of those messages comes from a lady, a mother, a grandmother. She may even be a great grandmother in her own right. She is 73 years old, and this is what she told me. She wrote to me and then she called because she did everything to get my telephone number and call me because of what she experienced at Mile 4 Nkwen before the Gendarmerie Brigade in Bamenda. This same day, this 5th day of February, in the year of our Lord 2020, those who are in Bamenda and who live around Queen would definitely testify to the effect that this is a true life story. This mother, she's 73 years old, and she wrote to me, she said, Mr. Akuro, I have refused to die. Many of my age mates are already gone. I have said I cannot die without seeing this independence come true. She said, I cannot die and go and tell them that I left the children behind still dying in tens and twenties daily. She said, I must go with the good news that all our sacrifices over the years have not gone in vain. She tells me that she has been involved with struggling for the freedom of the people of the Southern Cameroons for at least 35 years in her own right. And so when she got to me this morning, she said, my son, I was around my four, particularly around the Gendarmerie Brigade, when suddenly we noticed that they were hoisting the flag of La République du Cameroon at that brigade. And so we all stood, I was seated in the car, and were watching to wait for that incident to pass. She says, suddenly we saw a young man get into the road. Possibly he could have been sent by the parents to go buy something. He really held nothing in his hands. He was just passing his way. And the shock of our lives was that one of the gendarmes immediately lifted his gun, pointed at that young man, and shot him dead. The boy fell and died in cold blood immediately for no good reason. She said, I can't stop crying. I have been crying since I saw this. And I ask, are we still truly human beings? Have we become just animals? Have we just become, just flies in the eyes of these people? Will they ever, in in their lifetime, recognize us again as human beings? When she finished, she said, Mr. Akuro, how are preparations going on towards the demonstrations of the 7th? I said, well, Mama, we are trying. We are doing our best. And she said, I want to send a contribution. I mean, I held my breath. I thought I didn't hear her properly. I said, Mama, what did you say? She said, I insist I want to send a contribution. I want to send you $50. Give that money to the people who are doing banners, who are preparing placards. Say it is a contribution from a great-grandmother. Let them make sure they print it on clear placards to Mr. Trump and write the following inscriptions. Inscriptions I'm reading here. She said, as flies to wanton boys are the lives of Southern Cameroonians in the hands of Mr. Paul Biya's soldiers and himself. They kill us for their sport. And then I immediately thought of King Lear. I said, yes, Mama definitely is a learned woman. She picked out this line from Shakespeare's King Lear, which read, as flies to wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for their sports. But she modified to capture the real picture of what is happening on ground zero today. And so she said, I want you people to have a banner with this inscription on it. I said, Mama, it is your wish. I'm going to reach out to our people. I will just say it in a video communication. I pray that someone listens to me and is able to do a banner in that light, because as an individual, I have very little control over people doing banners. I don't even have logistics enough to be able to attend people doing banners. I don't know exactly how they often do those things in the United States of America. In fact, this is not my turf. I'm still finding my feet. And she said, no, my son, I'm insisting. I want to send this money. I said, Mama, I can get someone give that money in your name. She said, no, I want to send this money through World Remit, because I said she could pay on the ground. She says, no. The symbolism, the significance of this money is for you people out there to know that our hopes hang on you. We are looking forward to this demonstration with all our might. We are looking forward to this demonstration with a lot of hope. You people should go out there, tell President Trump what we are going through here. And I started crying. I couldn't hold my tears back. Even now as I'm talking, I'm fighting with those tears. Fellow Southern Cameroonians, my dear brothers and sisters in the United States, this is a moment that we have to show our people that we are all together. The question that arises is, we are there busy on social media, sharing messages of the lockdown. Some saying it begins tomorrow, the 6th of February. Others say it begins on the 7th and it will run right up to the 11th or the 12th. Definitely, I know, feeling my people, this will start tomorrow and it will end on the 12th. My dear people, while you are there sharing all these messages, pushing all these buttons behind a keyboard, asking people to stay indoors for one whole week, will you at least spare 4 hours, 4 hours only, from 9 to 2 p.m., those of you in the United States, and come out to Washington, D.C. before the White House to show our people that while they are locking down for 7 days, you can at least lock down for 4 hours. And this is not even locking down. We will be demonstrating. We will be chanting. We will be displaying pictures of our suffering masses before the White House for President Trump and all those officials around there to see, so that they know that we need help, so that they know that we need assistance, so that they know that we are desperate, so that they know that a genocide is unfolding in our land. My dear people, you will sit down and tell yourself, I have not been able to obtain permission. These people who are going to be locked indoors for at least 7 days, a good lot of them don't have any means of obtaining permission. Some will lose their jobs in the process. What are we doing? Are we going to make this ultimate sacrifice? Or we are going to sit down and tell ourselves that others will go? This is not a moment to drag on. And finally, I lost the battle with Mama because she insisted, and I finally gave her the email address to send that money through PayPal. And I'm convinced she might have done so because of the determination I heard in her voice. She can't stop shedding tears for that innocent boy that was killed before her in cold blood. And while I was still grappling with that, another message came in, this time from a young man who described himself as a hawker in a truck at the food market in Bamenda. He is donating $30. And now I tried as much as possible to convince him to give it on the ground. and he asked me, do you have somebody here I can give the equivalence of that $30 and they give you out there? Give to anybody who has difficulties getting there because they don't have water. You let them buy water and drink while they demonstrate in front of the White House. At this point again, I broke down. He said, my brother, we are struggling here. It is not easy, but I don't want my 2 children to grow up and be treated like animals, to grow up and be treated like game that people can shoot and kill at any time like me. This young man is a holder of what they call HND. That's what he told me. That he holds an HND in human resource management. That is what he's doing on the streets of Bamenda. Shall we keep our promise to these people? Will we make or we want to mar? By dragging our feet, by saying that it is so much short notice. My dear brothers and sisters, it is important for us to arise and get counted. This demonstration will only give an opportunity for the world to see again so strongly what is happening in our land. Since the beginning of this year, from the 1st of January to this date, count, you find that the number of our people that have died has been triple or fourfold the number that were killed between September and December of 2019. But our people are resisting. La République du Cameroon is trembling. They can't believe it. They can't understand this. They can't even fathom it. Because they were convinced that the kind of brutality that they came in with this year will discourage everybody, will shock our people, will shackle the determination of our people and make them bow. But my dear brothers and sisters, on ground zero, our people have refused to bow. Yaounde is confused. They don't understand what is happening. They are under total shock and consternation. They are already seeing for themselves that those evil elections have failed. They are seeing for themselves that those colonial elections that are imposing on our people have already failed on arrival. They have intimidated by all means to make sure that the people will not even accept to voluntarily shut their doors and go home. But they have seen in the streets of Boya, in the streets of Limbe, in the streets of Kumba, in the streets of Kumbo and Bamenda, how people are buying food in good numbers to go prepare for the lockdown. They have even vowed that they will break into houses, that they will get into houses, pull people from there and kill point blank. And our people have still said they are ready to die for what they believe in. They are ready to die for what they trust in. They are ready to die for what they are convinced about. Let us not fail our people. Let us arise and shine. If in your city you are even just 3 or 4 of you, go out there and demonstrate. Let our people see that you are able to spare those 4 hours while they will be sparing 7 whole days indoors. My dear people, this is the time we must do it. And this is another horrible story that I received from a former member of parliament in Bamenda. And I just want to read it as it is. He says, what I witnessed with my eyes today, the military killing a 60-plus-year-old woman in her car gleefully, tossing her around with armored cars and jeeps beyond words. The convoy was coming from Bambui at around 2 p.m. 2 p.m. today, Wednesday, the 5th of February 2020. The old woman was driving in her RAV card. She saw the convoy and parked. She respected them and parked. The thugs were not satisfied. The military cars surrounded her car and were damaging it from all angles. The old man was crying and bleeding. The guys, the military thugs were enjoying their malice until one of the soldiers started shouting in French, "Vous êtes en train de tuer une maman de 70 ans," before the guys took off, leaving us to rescue this bleeding old woman. Chai, cruelty of the most indescribable terms. Chai. And when I doubted, he wrote again, my brother, I was personally there. I saw it. I could not film it because if I took out my phone, I would be a corpse by now. He said, my brother, for those of us who had kept thinking that we could still possibly forge any kind of union with these people, to be very honest, after what my eyes have seen today, I will swear on my mother's grave. Nobody should ever think these people will treat us ever again as human. That is just another message. There are more. This one is, it was for Tuesday, the 4th of February. And someone wrote, this is circulating on social media. I bring very bad news from Boya. Hundreds of boys have been rounded up from Muyuka, Ekona, Ikata, Munya, Boya town, all the neighboring villages, and distributed the central police station Boya, Gendarmerie Legion, military barracks behind Synod office. The stock at the Gendarmerie and police have a chance of going home after paying 20 and 50,000 CFA francs as bail or ransom, while those at the military torture center behind the Synod office are being executed systematically. Between Sunday and today, more than 100 boys have been shot point blank, some tortured to death, some bludgeoned with heavy metallic rods. The executioners are enjoying it and taking their time. They are not even worried about hiding their work anymore. There is a huge pile of corpses on cartons in one of the rooms. Anyone who doubts this story can go to the upper part of the Synod office compound, climb the fence and listen. You will hear the screams of their victims and sounds of gunfire. This is not only genocide, it is extermination in progress. Those are messages, horrific messages that are coming from ground zero, from back home, that warrant us to arise in holy anger and go out there in huge numbers and demonstrate. In fact, we will not demonstrate on the 7th of February. After this, we have to plan regular moments to stay in the streets like the South Africans did and make sure that the world hears our story. I am sick and tired of watching the world just sit and making once in a while in a while speeches here and there. We must once more keep the world restless until they understand it is important to make sense of the never again slogan. This other one, information just coming in indicates that La République du Cameroon soldiers are going from door to door in some quarters of Kumbo asking for voters' cards. Those who don't have are forced to pay 25,000 CFA francs each. Oh my God. Are we still in the same country? At the same time, Maurice Kamto and some of the opposition parties operating in La République du Cameroon have vowed they will boycott the election on February 9. They have even called for a ghost town in their towns and cities on the 9th of February. We have not heard of any military going there to force people to ask them for voters' cards or to brutalize them. Why are we treated this way? Are we still humans? Are we the same people Mr. Paul Biya ever spoke about as Vivre Ensemble? Are these people we have lived with for almost 60 years? Are they really humans? Are they people we really thought were brothers and sisters? Are they still the same people? Killing us gleefully with all excitement? You must ask yourself these questions. And then this other one. Good afternoon. Information I gathered from Boya today, first-hand information. La République du Cameroon soldiers going around Boya exploiting citizens. They go into a small medicine store, pick up the owner, accuse her or him of selling illegal drugs or drugs used for committing abortion. The accused is asked to pay 100,000 francs to 500,000 francs before he or she is released. It happened to my friend's wife yesterday. This message was sent to me personally before I even circulated part of it on social media. So it happened to my friend's wife yesterday, and they had to struggle and come up with 100,000 CFA francs before the wife was released. If you are selling cosmetics, you are in for it. It may be it's a new way to raise soldiers' wages. It's happening all over Ambazonia territory. This is not fake news. I am not in the business of fake news. This revolution is too dear in my heart for me to spread fake news. This is because I've tried to insist. Are you sure about what you are talking? Are you sure this information you are giving me is correct? And he had to go the extra mile to explain this. This is an old man of over 70. My dear people. And then this last one. Bro, I just woke up today and saw your message because I was inquiring after them. How are you doing today? He said, well, the D-Day is fast approaching. We are hearing that they are making kale and taking people into the airport in Bafut, maybe to use these people as their human shields on the day of elections. My dear people, when you listen to all these messages coming from home, can you really look for a place, settle down quietly, and say you will sleep in your house or you'll be enjoying yourself with your friends on Friday, the 7th of February, while we will be out there before the White House in Washington, D.C., protesting and calling the attention of President Trump to what is happening to our people? Ask yourself this question. These people will be sacrificing 7 full days. What will I be offering in terms of sacrifice? and now talk about donations. I have continued to make this appeal. The last time I was told I lifted this paper upside down. I'm sure I definitely did, because I continue to get worried. I continue to be frustrated. I continue to be disturbed at our total lack of action. Now you hear that's a 73-year-old woman right on ground zero going to use PayPal to send $50 to the United States. I don't know how much she's going to spend in charges, just because she wants to make sure she participates in seeing us do what we naturally are supposed to do without being encouraged by anyone else but ourselves. You have just heard the story of this young hawker with 2 children. He is jobless. He's pushing a truck and selling items in it at the food market in Bamenda. He is going to send $30 that people in America should buy water and be drinking while they are demonstrating. Have you been able to put in just this $10 we've been asking for? Or you have kept telling yourself, this is not my group, that is not my group? My dear people, where have we kept our consciences? Where have we kept our souls? Where have we kept our minds? If you really want to make a donation and you don't want your name to be heard or seen anywhere, you don't want anything written about you anywhere, give me a call. Call any of those 2 numbers you have seen on this paper I just displayed. We will be at your service. We shall come to you. We need to arise and do something. We can't continue to lie on our laurels, to tell ourselves that we are divided while our people are dying. And dear brothers and sisters, this last message I have for you. As for those who are selling out, be sure you're going to see many more people selling out. Even some people who sing Ambazonia, 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 morning, afternoon, evening, and take it almost as breakfast. You will see them sell out this year, because we are nearing the finishing line. That is what you are going to see. Don't be shocked by it. It has happened before. It happened in several other struggles before ours. Take note. Those who were in for drama are beginning to sieve themselves. Those who were in waiting for their opportunities to take advantage of our struggle are sieving themselves. I say many more will go. And when you hear, don't get shocked. Let that not discourage you. Let it rather encourage you, because it is a sign that we are nearing the end. That the good news is no longer so far. We will count them. And take note, like one man of God told me over and over, those who will take us across the finish line are just a little bunch. They are not many. A lot of those who are screaming and shouting now, too many of them will disappoint, but don't be disappointed by their actions. It is just so that it should be fulfilled, what has been written in the Spirit. So God be the glory.